People are watching, not just because of one person. All right, but they're watching because of me too. Me too. They're playing at LSU. There are people right now, her fans. You know what? Her social media fans.
Angel Reese tried to throw a party and forgot to invite the crowd. Empty seats, bargain tickets, and still no takers. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark came back like Beyonce on tour, selling out a 15,000-seat arena in Brazil, Iowa, with fans dropping $670 just for the privilege of being in the same airspace. That's right, folks. The Caitlin Clark effect is back, and it's bigger than your uncle's midlife crisis Corvette. Buckle up, because this glow-up isn't just a comeback, it's a full-blown takeover. Even Angel's scoreboard couldn't be bothered to show up for this one.
The Chicago Sky went to LSU and played in a half-empty building. They not only had Angel Reese, they also had Haley Van Lith. They had two players from LSU, but one, largely Angel Reese, who is supposedly so unbelievably beloved in Baton Rouge that you would think that her return to LSU would fill the building.
Caitlin Clark is back, and just like that, every scoreboard in women's basketball has turned into a Caitlin Clark fan thermometer. She so much as exhales near a court, and the arena sells out before she takes her next breath. Meanwhile, on the flip side of the basketball coin, and by coin we mean one of those flimsy cardboard tokens you get from a busted arcade machine, we've got Angel Reese, praying her preseason game could at least outdraw a third-grade recital. Spoiler alert, it didn't.
You guys today, Angel Reese, girl, you're my angel, you're my darling. Folks, the Chicago Sky Game 1 of the preseason was underway last night. Angel Reese looked pretty good, but we're gonna get into that momentarily. On the negative side, Angel Reese fans, LSU fans, all of you who tell us, oh my God, what a big superstar.
Oh yes, the showdown that never was. Angel Reese strutted into her preseason debut with the swagger of someone expecting a red carpet, only to find out it had been rolled up and repurposed as ceiling insulation in a half-empty gym. And the best part? They were practically giving those tickets away. You could have paid for a seat with 2 buttons and a juice box, and they'd still have extras to spare. At this point, Angel could have offered a meet and greet, a selfie, and a free dinner, and people would have still chosen to spend their night stuck in traffic instead.
I've tried to tell you guys, you heard me say it on this channel. A lot of Angel Reese fans are not basketball fans, and they are proving it. They proved it last night without a shadow of a doubt. That was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever seen. You might be like, well, Rhodes, what was so embarrassing?
But Caitlin Clark? Oh, she sneezes and Iowa fans start building a stadium around the tissue. This woman could host a pickup game in the middle of a cornfield, and ESPN would still slap it on prime time. When she returned to Iowa to face Brazil, it wasn't just a basketball game, it was a cultural event. The Pope wishes he could pull that kind of crowd. The cheapest ticket? $670. For perspective, that's about the going rate for a kidney on the underground market, and fans were thrilled to pay it. Some didn't even make it inside. They stood outside the arena like it was Woodstock, hoping to catch the faint echo of a basketball bouncing through concrete just to say they were there when Caitlin Clark breathed the same air.
I don't want to hear ever again anyone ever tell me that there's anyone that's like Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. I don't ever want to hear it again. Nobody. There is nobody like her. I'm not glazing her. I'm telling the truth. I'm not blowing her. I'm telling the truth. She drew over 16,000 people to watch her team play the Brazilian national team at Iowa. Tickets were going for over $600 per the broadcast on the third-party market. The tickets sold out in the blink of an eye. People keep telling us there are other people in the WNBA who have made it matter. People keep telling us there are other players who are so very, very loved.
You've got to love the contrast. On one side, you've got Caitlin Clark, basketball's version of Coachella, turning every arena into a festival. On the other, there's Angel Reese, the local garage band still trying to convince the Applebee's manager to let them play during half-off appetizers. Angel's preseason crowd was so thin you could have hosted a family reunion in the bleachers and had enough space left for a dance floor. Someone even tried to start a wave, but it turned into a solo arm stretch, because, well, there was nobody else to pass it to. And then there's the Caitlin Clark effect, a phenomenon more powerful than gravity at this point. Remember her college days? Every game packed like it was the Super Bowl, even if it was just a random Tuesday night against Wisconsin. That energy hasn't faded, it's evolved. Now it's not even about watching her play, it's about existing within the same zip code. Just breathing the same air feels like a sports pilgrimage. Meanwhile, poor Angel's out here hoping someone recognizes her at Target. The embarrassment? Simple, she walked in expecting superstar treatment, and ended up playing to empty seats and echoes.
What was so embarrassing? What was so embarrassing? How about this? Caitlin Clark, Soldier. Go follow. Right here. This was last night's attendance. 6,373 fans showed up to watch Angel Reese and Haley Van Lith. And by the way, she did get a very good.
People literally camped outside the arena for days just to see Caitlin Clark play, against Brazil of all teams. And let's be honest, half the crowd couldn't find Brazil on a map if you gave them a globe, a highlighter, and 3 hints. But did anyone care? Not even a little. It could have been Brazil, Belarus, or the cast of Dancing with the Stars. As long as Caitlin Clark was on that court, tickets vanished faster than a Taylor Swift presale. She could have suited up against 5 of those inflatable tube men from a car dealership, the ones flailing like they're getting electrocuted, and the arena still would have been standing room only. One fan even admitted they bought a ticket just to hear the squeak of her sneakers on the hardwood. Not for a highlight, not for a buzzer beater, just the squeak. At this point, it's not basketball anymore. It's not even a sporting event. It's a cultural moment, a living phenomenon. Caitlin Clark has turned warm-ups into must-see TV. She's not just changing the game, she's rewriting the entire playbook. The sport didn't level up. She became the level.
So I think it's time to finally, end the argument. End the argument that there is any sort of other needle mover that is even remotely close to Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. And again, the reason why we've got Haley Van Lith up is because it was Haley Van Lith's return as well as Angel Reese's return. Angel was not the only person. They had 2 players returning. However, right now in Carver, there are no tickets left for under $200.
But then there's Angel Reese, strutting around like the court's just an extension of her TikTok feed and a side runway for Fashion Week. Sweetheart, this isn't Paris Fashion Week. It's the WNBA, not the WNBeyonce. The hardwood doesn't care about your glam squad or how many outfit changes you can squeeze in before halftime. If fans wanted to watch someone pose and pout, they'd scroll through Instagram or catch a rerun of America's Next Top Model. They showed up for Caitlin Clark, dropping dimes, drilling logo threes, and casually torching defenders with the accuracy of a Navy sniper. Clark brings buckets, not just bucket hats and brand deals. You'd think Angel might have caught on by now. You'd think standing in a half-empty gym while Clark sells out arenas loud enough to register on the Richter scale would drive the point home. But nope, Angel's still out here acting like she's the lead in a coming-of-age sports movie. Except it's not love and basketball. It's starting to look a lot more like love and bench ball.